Hey everyone, and welcome to this webinar on the state of AI native quoting in print. My name is Styrbjörn, and I'm going to lead you through this. And we're going to speak about why the where the GelatoConnect Estimator is now, where it is going, and what it means for your business in 2026 and forward. So, just quick about myself. I've been with Gelato now for, I think it's adding up to 15 years. Worked in product throughout, been a part of building many of our products, such as Optimal Print, Gelato Create, parts of GelatoConnect, and now the Estimator. And most of all, I'm just excited to have you all here on this webinar and to be able to share this with you and to be able to show how we think the future of AI quoting and estimation works and how that can help you. So what we'll cover is why quoting is the next AI battleground in print, how the GelatoConnect Estimator actually works. I'll show you live. And what have we ship at a very high pace. This product does not stand still. And what has happened in the last 90 days? A lot of things is the short answer. We'll drill a bit more into it for sure. And then we'll cover and we'll take it from there. So let's take a step back and let's look at what we typically see when we go around and speaking with printers across the world. And it's that the quoting process has quite a few challenges. One is that the actual time it takes to just make a quote. And this is just the time to enter and manage the quote. This is not the full end-to-end, the 20 minutes to 4 hours. It's not the full time from, you receive that ask to when you actually responded to the customer, which can be much longer. And in some cases, you may never get to answer that because you choose to not answer that, or someone may choose to not answer that because it is not worth it, you think, or you're saying no to opportunities already at this stage. And then adding on that, of that quote that you invested so much time in, 50% of those never convert. And that is, of course, some will say, well, I converted 70, 80%, but I have spoken with many that would say that 20, 30% of the quotes are actually those that convert. And that is 70% that you will lose already, in terms of time that you will never get back, and it didn't drive your business forward. So on average, when you put all of this together, about $8,000 in monthly quoting labor is typically what we see on average, right? It can be much more, and depending on your size. And as it says here, a key thing that we also hear is that the estimators, they're very good at what they do, but it's challenging, many of you tell me, to train new ones. It takes a lot of time, can take a year, can take 2. And if they leave or retire, that is a big business risk. Some of the estimators sit with knowledge that no one else has in your organization. And on top of that, they have a very large impact on your top line and your bottom line. And another challenge in this is that if you take 5 estimators, line them up next to each other and give them the same ask from a customer, there will be 5 answers. None of them will reach the exact same price. These are some of the challenges we hear from across the industry, across countries, across all parts of it, and that we are obsessing about solving. And estimations are really about, and quotes are really about speed. We spoke a bit about speed here just before, in terms of the time it takes to make the quote itself. But if you think end to end, the first supplier that answers to the customer's quote request will win in 50% of the cases. And speed matters. And this is why we are investing so much in different solutions for you to be able to do the quotes internally, but also to put the quoting engine and the AI engine on your website in different types of storefronts for you to be able to give access to your customers in the right places your quoting engine, in your estimation engine. And this is what GelatoConnect Estimator is all about. It's the intelligent quoting system for print production. It takes 15 seconds to generate an accurate estimate, and we'll see this very soon. And it takes less than 5 minutes to have a customer-ready quote to send. And on average, it reduces at least 65% of all the manual quoting effort. And I think that is lowballing it, I would say. Now, if you look at those customers that have really implemented Estimator and running this at thousands of estimates, which it would absolutely not have been possible, hundreds of estimates or thousands of estimates per day. And you have the power to tailor the estimation engine and the AI to how you and your business work. This is the 300 plus configurable parameters across all of the different dimensions of the estimator engine. And we've trained the AI agentic network on millions of real print transactions. And we train it on the data that you put into it, so it is tailored for you. And in Gelato, there are 3 core pillars that all of our software deliver upon, and so also the estimator. It's control, efficiency, and growth. And control, we spoke about that a bit earlier. With the estimator, you can truly control the price. The AI and the agentic networks make sure that all of the data is parsed and processed in the right way. And then we have the pricing engine combined with that makes sure that there's always the same price for the same inputs. And this means that you can set exact rules also. So the customer A should have, I should make less margin on that one. I should make more on B. And it will always end up with the same price. That is one of the key things, predictability, i.e. control in your top line, in your profits, in your bottom line, in your margins. And you can have control over this per estimator, per product category, thanks to our estimate analytics. Now, efficiency, of course, we have spoken about that. We are quoting at AI speed. It takes 15 seconds, not 20 minutes, not 4 hours, or even longer in some cases where it can take multiple days for printers to come back to a customer. And growth, we're putting this in the hands of yourself and your internal team, but also your customers can access it so they can estimate and quote themselves. And you can also, of course, access or win more deals just by working with the tool, because you're going to be so much faster. So with that as an intro, let's move over to actually see this in action. And let's start with a quote request. I think this is, so you will still see well. I will go with this size. So welcome to GelatoConnect Estimator inside of GelatoConnect. And we're going to go ahead and become an estimator. We just received an email from a customer saying, hey, I really need some flyers. So the customer has asked for the flyers. I'm going to paste in, they actually said, I'm going to paste in, hey, can I have 1,000 flyers? I'm just going to press enter. And then the AI, now we should have had a timer here, but we should have had the clock on. And there we go. This is not even 15 seconds. And it has come up, mapped the parameters, checked with 1,000 and sort of millions of transactions that it was trained on from before, but also mapped this into the data to the pricing engine, and we have our price. And we can now, if we want to come back to the customer as soon as possible, because this looks all perfect based on how I have set up my machines, my costs, my substrates, all of this. I can now generate the PDF, and I'm off to the races here in a few seconds. Once it's generated, here's my company Precision Prints, and here is my quote that I can send off to the customer. That was less than a minute. That is at the heart of it what this estimator can do for you. Truly change the velocity and ability to do this at scale without adding more people, without having to rely on training people for months and years to know how to do this. Now, you can, of course, as an estimator, I'm curious about why it chose to do this. And you have all of the details inside of here. You can see for each of the options that the estimator came back with, you can understand, okay, but what is driving the print cost here? Well, it is going to be run on the HP 10K. Here is how the markups look. Here are the number of press hours it's going to use, the number of impressions it will have. We can even drill in and see how the imposition layout will work to understand if it's using the right, what you expected to be using. And you can then go in and edit and tailor here if needed, but that is the point. You should not have to do that at all. And let's take another one. So we are now receiving another email, this time for some books. In this case, 100 softback books in A4 size, 200 pages, 250 GSM uncoated, and inner pages having 130 GSM gloss. Now, and if your customer does not speak the print language, some customers do, some don't. We will also look at how you can give the AI guidance on how you or your customers speak. This is a crucial part of it, where and that part is only based on your own training of it, which is, of course, just for your estimator. So in this case, it has, again, just mapped all of that data automatically for you into this and come up with which is the most efficient way for me, cost-efficient way for me to produce this. So, and I can, again, just generate the PDF and I'm off to the races. Now, there's much more to it here, but I know we have much to cover, so we'll see how much in detail we'll get to go here. But you can, one interesting thing here, just to take an example, let's go back, and everything is, of course, saved. You can come back to your conversation later and then say, add two quantities, 2,000, 5,000, and 10,000, because maybe your customer wanted to get different options. And so the AI will figure out that that's what you meant. And now we'll see what happened here. Yeah, so it's still working on it. And there we go. Now it is loaded in. And we can see I have 2,000, I have 5,000 here. We can see the price changing down here in the bottom right corner. And if I load the 10,000, I have another price. And now when I generate the PDF, you can actually send this PDF with the different options to the customer. Here we go. So they can now see, well, this is actually what it's going to cost and what the price per unit is and what they would save if they go up in quantity. This works for any of the commercial print products and the other types of products in general. And there are so many categories we do support, and you can add any type of category essentially into the estimator itself. So you have everything within commercial print and digital printing, offset and LIFO printing. You have apparel, packaging, large format, and there's so much within, and also sort of merchandise or things that are more like a mug or something that is more just a product in itself from the start. Now, let's head on and see how do you then, well, and let's move to another key part of this, which is the control. How do I have control over this? Well, you have your estimates analytics, which actually shows you a dashboard of exactly what is happening. How many estimates, who is doing the estimates, What product categories am I having the estimates in? How long time does it take? We're obsessing about the time because you want to reduce that, of course, as much as possible. How much money are you making? What's your gross profit margin per category? Can you answer that today in a clear and easy way in 2 clicks, 1 click? And here we don't have that many customers, but you can have your whole, assuming you have your whole customer list loaded here, you would see your gross profit per customer. Are you able to do that easily today? Here I'm quite a sophisticated estimator, and here we can see how my performance is and what type of gross profit margin I have generated, because the estimator can decide on their own to maybe do some adjustments before they send out, right? They still have that option because they know their customers best, but you also then want to know about that. And of course, you can here filter, change the time ranges, see this over time, and what has really happened. Now, you can also see here storefront estimates. How many of your estimates have been coming directly from customers without any of your staff touching them? And in my case, I think I really need to speak with our online team because that should be, of course, 90+%. Now, how do you get started? And like, how do you get up and running on this? And just like we have an AI agentic network put into the estimator product to help you to estimate within 15 seconds, we also have another trained agentic network to help you set up and get started in days instead of what typical timelines for MIS systems are months or years. And we really, really want to change that in how you approach this. So this is why we have invested heavily in the AI configurator. Now, let me then, so when you start out, maybe you're missing a number of papers you want to load in. So let's try and do that. I have an Excel file here with a number of papers that I just dragged in here. And it has around 30 papers, completely different data structure all over the map. Now, so let's say, help me add these papers and substrates. And this will now, that's all you need to say. Now it's just going to make its own plan, spin up, work in the background, and once it's done, it's going to come back to you with a proposal on how this should be done. So this will take a couple of minutes because it's actually, it can process any type of Excel file. And I've seen a lot of crazy files, and also, of course, other formats. You can give it a lot of different formats, but in the end, it's just going to work until it has figured out what your data is. It doesn't matter if your data has gaps in it, if you have 8 tabs where you all need to look in the different parts of it. It will figure this out for you, and that is one of its superpowers, of course. Now, let me show you a bit of what you can also ask, just as an example. So this account already has a lot of machines, so I can ask, what machines do I have? And then it will, start to access your account. This is a very simple example of what is possible to do with it, but it is just to show that the intelligence has access to all of your data and can help you configure anything. And let me navigate back to where we were. Sorry, my tabbing skills. So it's still working on it, and this does take a couple of minutes because it doesn't know what to expect of what you send in. But now assume, or imagine rather, that you have your own data that you export from whatever system you use. Maybe you're running on Excel. There are customers that do that. Maybe you're running on a sophisticated old MIS system. And you can export thousands of pages of PDFs, Excels, and so on, and just give it to this, and it will work for you while you go and do something else. Maybe answer some emails, take a coffee, whatever it might be. That is totally up to you. So let's here we can just see what it came up just as a short glimpse here of this, and it will also ask you clarifying questions. So we see that, okay, I'm loading this in a European account based on metric, and it really is asking here if it should convert and look up the GSM equivalents of each of these LB or pound papers. You can just work through it with it, and after, once you work through this, you're done with your substrates and you're off to machines. And after that, you are going to have your own estimates and quotes already up and running, basically. So getting started is completely transformed thanks to AI and thanks to this agentic network. And another key part that we spoke about was growth, which is, how do you grow? Well, one is how you can quote much faster nowadays, thanks to the estimator. A second is, well, how can I get this to my customers? And there are multiple options here, and I really wanted to show you one, but they're all very exciting. And in one, you can integrate it directly into whatever website you have today. And the one I wanted to show you here, because we don't have so much time, unfortunately, is the one where you have it in a storefront powered by GelatoConnect StoreLink, and where we have web to print storefronts. And one of our customers, ESP Color, is actually running such a storefront. So let me go there and just show you the estimator in action. So this is, you can go to this website and you can order something from ESP. I'm sure they will be very happy. And here we can see their products, or what they are running, some of the products they're running with Estimator today. And you can, as a customer, of course, just browse as normal, or you can actually just describe to the AI, hey, I want 50 soft cover books, 200 pages, and I'm not going to say so much more. And they have given the AI guidance that will come to next, that will show the AI, tell the AI what it needs to know for how it should handle the situation when it doesn't get that much information from the start. And here we will see. So it makes assumptions based on the ESP, in this case, ESP's commercial guidance to it. And in the end, I get a price for the books that I asked for. It has 200 pages. It is, in my case, I didn't even tell it what size I wanted of the book. So it made, based on the AI guidance, based on its own learnings and training, an educated guess. And of course, it told the user here up here what it did. I can either now continue to work with the AI, or as a user, I can just go in and change something here, and then I can click here to continue to submit my quote request. And then it just pops in to the estimator interface for you. And you can then just check, does this make sense? And connect with the customer from there. So we're super excited about this. We think this is really going to transform when you put this either into your existing websites or use GelatoConnect StoreLink to leverage upon this power. So let's now go back and speak about guidance. How do you control this? How do you make this your own? And well, here we go. At the same time, we have now all of these 30 papers. While we were doing an estimate over there, the agent was continuing working on our Excel file, and now it ended up completing it. So here we can see all of the papers it found, and it has mapped it all, and we can now just say apply selected, and you have imported this. This could be 30, it could be 500, or whatever other number it could have been, 2,000, 10,000. It doesn't really matter. The agent will work until it's done with your request. Okay, let's continue to seeing the AI guidance. Now, for AI guidance, you can see here you have the storefront and you have the internal. And let me remove the AI configurator. So now we're going to give guidance to the AI that is running when I'm doing the quoting. And you can say here, for example, we have a very simple one, which is, hey, what category should you choose? And this is based on what you have called your categories, how you work. And printers often say that, you know, they are unique in some way, or they may have said that quite a lot of times, to me at least. And when it comes to exactly how they define their product categories and all of this, I would agree. And this is a fantastic example of where category guidance makes total sense. How are you managing your product categories? What does this mean? What should it happen when someone says this? You can go back into the estimates and see, you know, why did you have to say two things to the agent or clarify something? Then every time you have to clarify something, you should update the guidance so it becomes more and more automatic. So here, for example, we have many more rules, commercial print rules of what should happen if lamination is not specified. Then you should set lamination to none, and there should be no lamination coverage, for example. That means the agent will never ask me about that. And again, I'm saving time. And these rules are all up to you. This is where you can also put in your own commercial logic, your own thinking, a number of things that are truly yours. You can also, there are also customers that use this for, and that is more on the storefront side, where you can give it knowledge about you as a printer and use this as a chat agent on the website itself. It's not the typical use case, but it could say like, hey, I think my company was called Precision Print. So Precision Print was started in 1982. It was done by my father, and so on and so on. All of that knowledge can also be given to this agent, so it can interface in your tone of voice with your history directly inside of it on the website when you put it there. And I wanted to, there's so much we can touch upon, but going to control and one more time here would be just to show you the pricing rules. Like there are sophisticated ways that you can decide and change how you price or how you cost and how you mark up. And you have different types of profitability strategies that you can use also. So if we say this is a markup rule, let's call it, and here you choose what should happen when the rule executes. We can say, well, we should increase our machine markup by 10%. And now you can add any type of condition here. If the customer is named this, if the size of the product is that, if the type of machine is digital or if it's offset. And you can also add your own things here. Here I've added two parts on customer level that are just about, for example, I've tiered my customers into A, B, and C. And I would say, I probably want to increase my machine markup on customers that are tier A, because those are the ones that I want to make more money on. And there we go. Now, any quote that I do from this moment on will have this. And you can then see all of the rules that are active. And the tip here in how to use this effectively is that every time you or your estimators have sat and wonder like, okay, but for this customer, what do we do specifically? What, for example, right? Or when this happens, then this is how we typically do. Then put that into a price rule or into AI guidance, so the AI and the engine knows what to do. And then you have institutionalized the knowledge into the machine, right? Into the software. So you get the same thing every single time without having to think about it. You get predictability and you get control over your margins. I think and you can also create multi-product estimates. Maybe you have, and I don't think we have time to really drill into this one, but maybe you have lists of it can be 10 products, or a customer comes to you with a list of 100 products. That can take days for you or for a printer. And here you convert that into an Excel format, for example, and it doesn't need to be very crisp for the agent to really understand what it is. And then it just takes 2-3 minutes at the most, and you're done. So this is also a super exciting part of the whole estimation. You can really cover the whole end-to-end part of this. Now let's head back. What you saw here is that the setup is driven by AI agents and agentic networks. It can configure your machines, substrates, processes, pricing rules, and it really drives the setup time from, well, here we say not weeks. Well, that is where we were before, but while the softwares out in the market, from what I hear, are far longer in implementation time. And something we didn't see, but that is crucial, is the ability to just have full version control. You can see exactly who changed what at what time, and you can roll back. And in the last 90 days, we have added apparel, we have added packaging, we have done more with multi-product. And within apparel, you have DTG, DTF, embroidery, screen print, and patches. We haven't even captured all of them on this screen. And you can connect that with GelatoConnect procurement. So all of the things that you're procuring via Gelato, and with those amazing rates, you can then just automatically ingest that and use that in your estimator. It's just for anyone of you on the webinar, feel free to reach out on this also. If you're more interested in apparel, we can absolutely dive into that or in any other part of this. Now, we've also looked at margin, pricing rules, but we didn't have time to go into much of the details here. But you can go in on specific machines, set up exactly what type of print run speeds you should have per type of substrate. If you pay your click rates based on sheet sizes, you can have volume markup tiers. So you can model your costs and markups in the right way and based on how your print shop works, just as one example. And all of the data, all of the estimates are possible to very easily export out of this system. You can send that back to your MIS, to your business intelligence system, to your ERP, to whatever it might be. And we ship that in the most common data structure on the planet right now, which is structured JSON. And it's very easy to work with and convert to whatever you need. So if we start to wrap up here, speed becomes your competitive edge. You have seen how we went from not having estimator to having estimator and being able to ourselves do the quoting in 15 seconds to allowing the customer to do the quoting directly on the website and in seconds get a quote. And you are in full control of your margins through price rules, AI guidance, the whole estimator engine. And you also saw the analytics of how you can drill down and see exactly what are you making on each of these product categories per estimator. So you have control of your business on another level. And you can, of course, export your data so you can use it in other systems. So with that, thank you so much. And I think we will wrap up here, and feel free to reach out to me at any point in time. You have my email directly here in the slides. And you can also book a one-to-one demo, or just send me questions about anything you would like to know more about, and we will reach back out to you, of course, and connect. So, and you will get this in your inbox, so you can see it again. And but don't hesitate to reach out. I and the team, we're here for you to help you out on your journey. So with that, a big thank you, and hopefully see you soon.